Hostomel, Bucha, Irpin. Their names now conjure up images of invasion and atrocity. That sudden and violent rebranding witnessed by a single family forced to traverse all three on a harrowing journey through hell.
It burned.
The morning of February 24th, Kateryna Titowa woke up to the tip of the Russian spear aimed at her town.
I said, oh my God, a war has started. We have been attacked. Oh my God.
She, like many of her neighbors in Hostomel, who shared video on social media, saw out her window a critical moment of the war. Russian airborne forces attacking Kyiv's military airport just a few miles from her home.
The Ukrainian troops began firing at them, but the Russian paratroopers managed to disembark.
At this point, did you think that you were safe here?
The main problem was that you have no place to go.
You're stuck.
Yes, you're stuck because I understood that Russian soldier is very bad.
She rushed her children into a tiny basement space.
It is very small, but it's okay when you need to sit here for some hours, not longer.
But they would shelter there for days, hoping the house above them still stood as Ukrainian soldiers fought to hold back Russian forces from taking Kyiv.
And like a boat, I was sure that our house is destroyed because that was so loud.
You were between the Ukrainian forces and the Russians.
Yes.
In the middle.
Yes.
Not a good place to be.
In the basement. In the basement.
Yeah.
Later that first week, they finally ventured out to see dead Russian troops.
Behind me, there is a Russian corpse.
And, to their shock, a young Ukrainian couple killed by the Russians.
They had been dead for several days. We pulled them out. The ambulance arrived. We loaded them into the ambulance. Then we found out that they were 19 years old and were engaged to be married.
Heading right toward them, an even greater danger.
My husband heard from a soldier that a massive Russian column of vehicles was headed here. There were two options, run away or fight.
We take our backpacks and we run to Bucha to our friends.
To Bucha.
To Bucha. In that moment, we thought that in Bucha we will be safe.
Bucha, a city already under brutal Russian control. But the family, without cell signal, had no warning.
We crossed this road. It was here.
Titowa showed us the path they took to avoid the roads. Exhausted, their 6-year-old daughter could barely walk. Endure, sweetie, her mother says. After several hours, they arrived in Bucha. But it would turn out to be one of the deadliest places of the war.
So this is the house where we lived for 2 days.
What was the most frightening moment for you?
In Bucha, when my husband and his friend went outside to help one man to get him home. That man was shot by Russian militants.
Imagine the situation. Bucha, 11 p.m. There are no street lights.
I don't know where is he. It was the most horrible 1.5 hours in all my life. Our plan of evacuation to Kyiv will be ruined because I can't leave him. And when they returned, oh God, how happy I was.
The next morning, the family went on the run again, this time to the Kyiv suburb of Irpin. Another death trap that everyone was trying to escape. There was only one treacherous way out. The bridge seen round the world, destroyed by Ukraine to block Russian tanks from reaching the capital. They ran down the narrow path through shelling, gunfire, and twisted wreckage. That moment, her moment of escape, captured on the front page of newspapers around the world.
She was running and crying because she was very tired. And I said, you may cry, but we have to run.
But her husband isn't in the photograph. He'd stopped to help an elderly woman get across. That moment, too, captured by a BBC camera. A year later, we were with them on their first visit back to the bridge since their harrowing escape.
It's like a chapter of our life, and now it's finished.
The next one.
This is the next chapter of our life.
Her new chapter, healing from the trauma, making patriotic jewelry, and continuing to worry what another year of war will bring. Now, Kateryna and her family are back in Hostomel. Her husband returned to work as a school teacher, but two of his pupils are no longer in his classroom. They were killed in the Russian invasion. Chance.
Gosh. And Jason, last year there was this big Russian holiday. Everyone was talking about it. They worried Russia would launch this new major assault. But in the end, they didn't. As we hit the one-year mark of the invasion, is a new assault expected?
Well, there's absolute fear here and stern warnings to be prepared for Russian strikes. However, the Ukrainians themselves appear to be launching surprise strikes on Russian-occupied territory just today. These are areas that were supposed to be out of the range of the American HIMARS. Remember that one of the main things that Zelensky's been asking Biden for, including on Biden's visit to Kyiv just this week, is for longer-range ammunition. Military analysts say that the Ukrainians would use it on the battlefield to shock the Russians before announcing it had arrived. No official confirmation that they've received this, but there are indications that the Ukrainians are on their own offensive today.
Certainly sends the message we're not just sitting ducks, and it sounds like new offensives are always possibilities without being certainties at this point. Jason Bellini in Kyiv, thank you.